Quick heads up before we start. I will be off tomorrow. I have an event in Camden, and I will be back on Monday with another episode of the podcast. Matt is still publishing the main update, so head over to the website to check that out. We'll start off with a clip of a leaked recording of Steve Bannon in October of 2020, just before the election, talking to a group of people about how Trump plans to respond to a variety of 2020 election scenarios.
You wake up Wednesday morning, it's going to be a firestorm. You're going to have Antifa crazy, the media crazy, the courts are crazy, and Trump's going to be sitting there mocking, tweeting shit out, you lose. I'm the winner. I'm the king. And he'll be all over, he'll be going, where's Hunter? Is Hunter on a crack pipe? I mean, no, he'll be, because then it doesn't matter. Remember, here's the thing. After then, Trump never has to go to a voter again. He's going to fire Ray, the FBI director, and fire the he's going to say, fuck you, how about that? Because he's never going to, he's done his last election. Oh, he's going to be off the chain. He's going to be crazy. Also, if Trump is losing by 10 or 11 o'clock at night, it's going to be even crazier. Because he's going to sit right there and say they stole it.
Agree.
I'm directing the Attorney General to shut down all ballot places in all 50 states. It's going to be no. He's not going out easy. If Biden's winning, Trump is going to do some crazy shit.
Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. Welcome to day 540. Inflation climbed to 9.1% in June compared with a year ago, the biggest 12-month increase in 40 years. On a monthly basis, the Consumer Price Index jumped 1.3% from May to June, after prices had already jumped 1% from April to May. While average wages in June were 5.1% higher than they were a year ago, energy prices rose by 41.6%, groceries went up 12.2%, and the cost of shelter went up by 5.6% over the year. At the same time, average inflation-adjusted incomes fell by 1% for the month, and are down 3.6% from June 2021 to June of this year. The Federal Reserve's Beige Book, which is a summary of the commentary on current economic conditions, reported that businesses noted, quote, concerns over an increased risk of a recession, end quote, and that discretionary spending is showing signs of slowing due to higher gasoline and food prices. The Fed raised interest rates by 0.75 percentage points last month, the largest increase since 1994. But the Fed says that accelerated inflation may require them to consider an historic 1 percent point rate hike later this month to slow the economy and restrain inflation. The Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta President Raphael Bostic said, quote, everything is in play, end quote. Meanwhile, the FDA authorized the use of Novavax's COVID-19 vaccine for adults. The Novavax protein-based COVID vaccine is given in 2 doses that are administered 21 days apart. The Biden administration has secured an initial 3.2 million doses, which should be enough to fully vaccinate 1.6 million people in the United States. The Senate also approved Biden's nominee to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Stephen Dettelbach is only the second Senate-confirmed director in the history of the agency. And finally, Lindsey Graham asked a federal judge to revoke a subpoena issued by a Georgia grand jury investigating criminal interference in the 2020 election by Trump. The subpoena for Graham's testimony says he made at least 2 calls to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger about, quote, re-examining certain absentee ballots cast in Georgia in order to explore the possibility of a more favorable outcome for former President Donald Trump, end quote. Graham's lawyers argued that no extraordinary circumstances exist for compelling his testimony, and that, quote, sovereign immunity prohibits enforcement of the state court process on him as a federal officer, end quote. And in the polls, Yahoo News says 18% of Americans say Biden should run for re-election in 2024, while 64% say he shouldn't run. Among Democrats, 41% say he should pass on a second term, while 35% say he should go for it. The New York Times says 41% of voters want Democrats to control Congress following the 2022 midterms, compared with 40% who say they'd prefer Republican control of Congress. And the Times also says 53% of voters say America's political system is too divided politically to solve the nation's problems, while 41% believe the current system can still work. 58% say American democracy needs major reforms or a complete overhaul. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditas.
You guys are not tough enough. Or maybe I put it another way, you're a bunch of pussies. Excuse the expression.